It was the last working day of the school. So after I got dressed in uniform, I asked my mother to make my hair. She came with a comb and started to make braids. While doing that, we talked about the school. She finished making my hair. I was about to start for the school. My friend Suzette asked me to wait for him from his room nearby. I must say, it was an exciting moment for me to wait for him. He came. It was the gladdest phase of time for me to go to school with him. I saw him first time in the month of February when he got admitted to my school. He was from the southern part of my state, and within a short span of time, we became good friends. And there wasn't anything that I wouldn't find good in him. I must say, he was perfect in everything. And I just admired and loved him. But all my feelings were locked inside me, because he had been in love with Misika, my classmate, for 3 months now. And while we were going to school, he talked about Misika several times. All the feelings in him were hidden in my heart. He was lacking words in his appreciation about her beauty and his admiration towards her in his mind. When we were about to reach school, he put his hand into his pocket and fished out a paper and gave it to me. He wanted to send some words to Misika through me. It was hard, but I held it and kept inside my pocket without looking at it. He went off and I turned myself to my class. I wanted to read that paper and feel that feelings for once. But in order to protect his privacy, his trust towards me, I had to be honest. So I kept that paper safely inside my pocket till it reached her hand. After morning assembly, I handed the paper to Misika and just uttered 2 words from Suzette, and I scurried away. The whole day when we got together, I could perceive angriness in her eyes on me. She used to give me an infuriated look as if I knew the in and out of the letter. I wish I knew. But I only knew about the letter, and what's in it were beyond my mind's eyes. The last bell of the day rang, and in fact, it was the last bell of the year too. Everyone was so happy. I came out of my class and reached the playground. Misika came closer to me and said, "You see, the letter into the duct near the assembly ground." When she said this, I realized my mistake to give her the letter. She treated me as if I did the crime. Leaving me this mark, she left for home. At the same time, Suzette came and asked whether I handed the letter to Misika. "Yeah, I gave her," I said. "What she said?" he asked. "Nothing, but she took it," I said. I saw his face, he was smiling. I could just say that he was so happy, but I never told him about the last sentence that Misika spoke. I didn't want to ruin his happiness. He went away. Then I went towards the place where Misika's last sentence described about. I looked for the letter everywhere, but there was no sign of it. At last, I saw a small and damp piece of paper. I picked it up. I was awed to see that it was the same letter that Suzette had given me in the morning. Every word of the letter had been disappeared because it was weight. I didn't read anything but the last words. which exactly reflected all emotion of the letter. I just smiled and put the letter into my pocket and went home. I hung my school uniform tucked on a hanger at the corner of my room. Next morning, I was sitting at the yard. I saw Sujit going home. He went out of his room and waited for a taxi to Bazaar at the road nearby. A taxi came and gave him lift and accelerated. I gazed at the taxi till my eyes could see. I was thinking about his feelings on the subject of previous day's letter. Holiday had started. After 3 days, I went to Darjeeling to visit my sister. I was lost in the overwhelming beauty of Darjeeling. After a month, I was back home. When I entered my room, the sight of my school uniform reminded the letter. Hurriedly took the hanger down and fished out the letter. It was safe there, same as before, which I couldn't read all the words but the last words which were still clearly readable. After dinner, before going to bed, I cut out only that part of the letter which contained those last words. The last words that can never be erased, neither from that paper nor from my heart. When someone did not understand the meaning of it and threw it into a duct full of water, I glued that piece of paper in my diary, which remained there lively, full of emotion and love. The last words were, "I love you." I suppose myself that I am its proprietor and feel the worthy of its value, reflect the significance of the letter, which became the printed feelings forever in my diary.